It is 9 p.m., 9:20 p.m. The government's set to shut down at midnight tomorrow. Do you think we're going to have a government shutdown?
Well, Vegas is now saying 70 to 30 odds. I'm eternally hopeful.
What are you saying?
Well, I think I would bet against it. I'm going to bet that it'll probably shut down.
That's the narrative big media wants. The government is going to shut down and millions will pay more. But here's what they don't want you to hear.
We heard from the president late tonight on his view, I guess is how I would put it, on how the negotiations at the White House went today. I want to get your reaction to what the president posted.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us.
Is that appropriate in your view?
Look, I think sometimes the president plays with the press like a little boy and a flashlight and a dog. And he's shining the flashlight here and he's shining it there. What he's saying is this offer from the Democrats is ridiculous. $1.5 trillion on top of funding that they already agreed to. That what they're asking for is completely ridiculous. It's disingenuous. Why didn't they just say, look, let's just talk about these extra COVID-era subsidies, these extra subsidies that are costing some $35 billion a year. Let's make those just for the people who really need them. Let's go back to the original ACA and make this for people under 400%. They didn't bring us a serious offer there. Look, in my estimation, Chuck Schumer wants the government to shut down to settle a political score.
Republicans are saying, let's talk. Let's find a way forward. Speaker Johnson and even today, President Trump said they're willing to negotiate the ACA subsidies. And the bipartisan continuing resolution gives them time to do that. But Democrats are demanding $1.5 trillion more, or else. To which a lot of you are probably saying, well, Brian, that's just politics. Why bother? Let me try to explain. Fear is the headline. $1.5 trillion is the reality. And the objective failure of Obamacare 15 years later, still scrambling for subsidies, that's the reality. They passed the Affordable Care Act to make health care affordable.
I put forward a plan. It says if you've got health insurance, we're going to work with your employer and lower premiums by $2,500 per family per year. We will do it by the end of my first term as President of the United States of America.
15 years later, Democrats are frantically demanding even more subsidies just to make the Affordable Care Act affordable. That's not reform. That's failure. Republicans are willing to prioritize help for those who truly need it. Democrats are willing to shut down the government if they don't get their way. And what's the defense of Obamacare after all of these years? Well, here's the queen of politics herself.
The president has said, I hear what they're saying. It's all unserious and ridiculous. In fact, I've listened to their shit, and I tell them to go f themselves. So that's I can't believe I use that word. My kids will be shocked. My grandchildren will be further shocked. I'm just quoting the President of the United States. And so I think the leverage springs not from any shared values with him, if that's what he thinks healthcare is about. And yourself.
Oh my! Nasty Pelosi says the quiet part out loud. 15 years of Obamacare, $1.5 trillion more in subsidies, and the defense boils down to profanity. If that's the argument, maybe the ACA really is out of ideas. One side is saying, let's try to make this thing work, at least for people who need it the most. The other side is saying, give us $1.5 trillion more, or we'll shut down the government and blame you for the mess we made. That's not negotiation. That's what I think they call extortion. By the way, if you're finding value in these videos, would you like and subscribe? It costs you nothing, but it does a lot to help this channel out to overcome the overlords of AI. So like and subscribe if you would. But wait, this is a good thing. In their effort to damage the Trump administration and Republicans, the Democrat Party has exposed the dying corpse of Obamacare. Now, we all know the real purpose of the Affordable Care Act was never affordability. It was to subsidize big insurance and collapse the system to pave the way for a single-payer takeover. And here's the faith check. God expects us to be good stewards, and he calls us to care for the poor and the sick. Just today, the Trump administration announced what could be a generational breakthrough on drug pricing. It disrupts the broken global system that has forced Americans to pay several times, even multiple times more for the exact same prescriptions than people in other nations.
The big winner of this deal clearly will be the American patient. There is no doubt about it. They are the ones that will see significant impact in their ability to buy medicines. But I would argue that it is not the only winner. I think who else is a winner here? It is American innovation and American economy.
Don't get me wrong, it's not going to fix insurance premiums overnight, but it's a sign of new thinking, tackling root causes instead of throwing more subsidies at failure. Fear says you'll pay more. Hope and courageous common sense says we can build something better. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You see, fear is the tool of human politics. Truth and stewardship are the call of faith. And that's the real health check our nation needs today. I'm Brian Tuttimore. Remember, think right to live free.